And welcome back, guys. Welcome to another video. Today, just like usual, we're checking out some interesting moments from mining and construction job sites. So, before we get started, I'd really appreciate it if you guys could drop a like and share so we can keep growing the channel. All right, let's get into it. So, what do we got here? Okay, old Soviet rope shovel, an old Passat, and a trailer hooked up to the car. This can only mean one thing. Guess the country, wrong answers only. This is one of those moments when the boss pulls up in his private car and tells you, "Boy, load that thing all the way to the top." I've seen a lot of crazy stuff on the job, but this is definitely one of the sketchiest ones yet. Here we got a real challenging situation. A fully loaded XCMG truck, as you can see, blew out the front right tire. And what makes it even worse, it happened all the way down at the bottom of the pit. And to make it over to the spot where they're going to change the tire, he's got to dump the ore first, which means the company's losing a whole load of precious material. All right, let's take a look. This is the first safe spot wide enough for them to change the tire, because the repair shop is still pretty far away, and there's a big risk of damaging the rim if he keeps driving like that. One of the most dangerous roads out there are ice roads. But when there's no other alternative route for miles around, sometimes you simply gotta take the risk. Looks like for this guy, the risk just didn't pay off. In the remote parts of northern Russia, frozen roads across lakes are often the only option, and very often they turn into deadly traps. That's why it's extremely important to drive with the doors cracked open so you can bail out of the cab in time if things go bad. This guy got lucky, because if that dozer had gone down just a few feet deeper, he probably wouldn't have even been able to open the door because of the water pressure. All right, that definitely wasn't supposed to happen. Good thing the blasting material was powdery. What happens when you drop a 11,000-pound rock onto a sedan from about 160 inches up? Well, we're about to find out. Well, nothing much. But what happens when you drop a rock the size of a small pickup truck from over 1,300 feet up? Boy, that's a whole nother level. Let's take a look. Lucky for us, it split in half and didn't fall into the lake. Otherwise, if that thing had hit the water, it would have made a small tsunami and probably flooded the mining pumps. Meanwhile, in that same lake, a Komatsu D375A-6 is pulling an old Bucyrus Erie 60-R, which is fine, but something else caught my attention here. Well, it's just another normal day in Russia. All right, we're still in Russia, and looking at the condition of this truck, I'm realizing more and more just how bad the mining industry is in some places. This thing doesn't even have a right side mirror, no right windshield wiper either, and they could have at least cleaned the windows. The rear glass is so dirty you can barely see anything through it. And judging by all the ice built up on the windshield, I'm guessing the heater probably doesn't even work. If visibility is already this bad during the daytime, I can't even imagine what it's like driving this thing at night. Blasting time. This one was pretty much under control, but the next one got a little out of hand. A big boulder almost smashed right into the excavator. And this right here scared the hell out of me. And why do I say me? Well, because most of this stuff actually happened to me, and I was the one filming it. But anyway, let's see what happened here. I pulled the grader over onto a wide spot to let the haul trucks pass, and everything looked fine until the third Balaz truck showed up. Let's take a look. And from this moment right here, I completely froze. I thought, that's it. This guy's gonna run me over. Later I asked him, dude, are you out of your mind? You almost crushed me. And he goes, sorry bro, my smartphone fell down. I bent over to grab it, and I accidentally pulled the steering wheel. Man, I was shaking for the next half hour after that. Years of working in the harshest conditions. Even machines like bulldozers have their limits. Dead angle, I gotta admit, that's some fucked up shit. But man, you got a backup camera, and you still managed to back straight into the truck behind you. Working at heights with machines this heavy definitely ain't for everybody. Alright, now we're officially entering the muddy part of the video. Now you're about to see the difference between Terex and Belaz haul trucks. Now both of them are fully loaded, and it's the exact same corner. Watch this. And watch the Belaz haul truck show them how it's done. I'm starting to question the quality of some of these Chinese vehicles more and more. He made it through the deep water, started climbing the hill wide open on the throttle, and then all of a sudden, poof, black smoke, and that was it. Looks like water got into something. This is what I like to call a perfect overload. I don't know what the excavator operator is thinking, but if that rock the size of a whole bucket comes down on top of that excavator, boy, that ain't gonna end well. Now, I'm gonna show you something that drives me absolutely crazy. Something that leaves me finishing every shift with back pain. I'm going to try to show you what it's like working and driving a grader when the center pin is worn out. The amount of play it gets is insane. Every single time I move forward or reverse, every time I change gears, the grader jerks and folds at the articulation point, and the seat just keeps slamming into your back and kidneys. By the end of the shift, it feels like you spent 8 hours riding a rodeo instead of operating a grader. My back hurts so bad every single day, and the mechanics are just like, well, it can still work like that. After all, what else can you expect from mechanics? And if you combine a worn-out center pin with these waves on the road, well, I think this is going to be a long night. And this is actually pretty interesting. I don't think most of you guys have seen how a portable power distribution box gets connected out in the mine. Those cables you see are supplying power to the excavators and drill rigs around the mine, carrying voltages up to 6 kilovolts. I remember about 15 years ago, I was pushing mud with the grader, and one of these boxes was sitting kind of below the road. Problem was, it didn't have a hatch, and I didn't see the box at all. I pushed a whole pile of mud right into the box, and then suddenly, boom! That thing exploded from a short circuit. The flash was so bright, I almost went blind for a second. And you can probably see that the inside of the box is all black, and part of the inside of the hatch, too. Yep. This one experienced a boom as well. I mean, all kinds of stuff has happened with these boxes. Guess there's no messing around with electricity. Now that everything's connected and tightened up, it's time to power the machines back up. Guess the leak, engine or hydraulic oil? And for the end, something you definitely don't see every day, something that looks straight out of a post-apocalyptic movie. Most of you probably already know what this is about. Well, I mean, the Americans. But let's explain it for the people who don't know what happened here. What you're looking at right here is known as the Palisades Fire, the massive wildfire that started in the Santa Monica Mountains near Los Angeles on January 7th, 2025. And it burned for a full 24 days before firefighters finally got it under control. During that time, it destroyed huge parts of Pacific Palisades, Topanga, and Malibu. Driven by extremely powerful Santa Ana winds, the fire spread across nearly 37 square miles, killing 12 people and destroying more than 6,800 structures. It became one of the deadliest and most destructive wildfires in California history, and officially, the most destructive wildfire ever recorded in the history of the city of Los Angeles. And these apocalyptic scenes you're looking at right here, this is real footage of a Caterpillar D9 bulldozer, specially equipped for emergency operations from the Los Angeles County Fire Department, literally using brute force to smash through piles of abandoned vehicles along Sunset Boulevard in the Pacific Palisades area of Los Angeles. As police were stopping traffic and ordering evacuations, residents started abandoning their vehicles, and the pileups just kept getting bigger and bigger. The biggest problem was that a lot of drivers panicked and took their car keys with them. So emergency responders had no way to move the vehicles and couldn't get through to the fire zones. That's why they had to bring in the bulldozer to clear the road by force. But man, look at this. Just look at that pile of smashed vehicles. Walking almost 300 feet through smoke and ash, right between both lanes lined with abandoned cars, really makes you wonder, is this even real? Or is this some kind of nightmare? And then it hits you. This is reality. A lot of vehicles were destroyed, and now the big question is whether insurance companies are going to cover the losses, considering the cars were abandoned in the middle of the road. Personally, I think they probably will, since authorities ordered people to leave their vehicles behind during the evacuation. Share your thoughts down in the comments. I'd really like to hear what you guys think about this whole situation. Well, guys, that's going to be it for today. If you enjoy this kind of content and what we do on the channel, please support us so we can keep growing even more. Until the next video, stay safe out there.